is this? What, Toffee? That's it? I quit. I can't figure it out anymore. I quit. I'm out. Okay. I'm not actually out, but I am so confused after these episodes. But let's just get right into it. Hello, cartoon fanatics. RJ here, and welcome back to another Cartoon Corner covering Star versus the Forces of Evil. We got a lot of interesting things going on with these episodes, specifically with the clips I kind of showed here at the beginning. But you know what? We're gonna cover a little bit of everything and get down into exactly what's going on, because at this point, everything being revealed is going to be connected in some way, shape, or form, and I am so confused as to how it's going to happen. But I know that it is going to happen somehow, some way. That's it. I gotta stop thinking about it. My brain's hurting. I'll just talk about the episodes. Okay, to start, it's cool being able to see Moon kind of start her own mini kingdom, almost as we predicted, with the humans that have kind of been left over from the monster scraps, and Eclipsa treating the monsters nice, but now the humans are kind of left in the background. And Moon's trying to assist them to, be able to do things on their own, because apparently they couldn't do anything for themselves without a queen telling them what to do. So she goes on this journey to get a journal or some notebook paper for one of them, which means she has to go back to the now destroyed Butterfly Castle. And it's pretty jarring going through that place and seeing how much of the history has been pretty much demolished. I can't even imagine what Moon thought going through that place, because that's her legacy right there. Even though they aren't true butterflies, her whole family's legacy was wrapped up in what used to be the Kingdom of Muni, and now it's just crumbled to ashes and debris, and that's got to be really sad for her. However, she comes across Mina Loveberry. I do not like this character. The second she appeared, I did not like her. She drives me crazy, and the more she does, the more upset I get. I understand now that part of it's just kind of due to the giant spell that Queen Solaria put on the humans in order to fight the monsters, and Mina's the only one remaining from that program, and she's just so bent on that one purpose. You can't deter her. Moon even tries and saying, things have changed now, you gotta change too, you can do better, and Mina just outright refuses. We figure out that she's been the one trying to yada yada Eclipsa and get rid of her so that Moon can become back to being the queen. It's just a big old mess, and if I didn't like Mina before, I really don't like her now. Every time I see her, it just gets worse of how much I dislike this character. It's just someone so set in their ways, and they aren't willing to realize the past is gone and they have to move on and change to some area. She can't seem to accept it. And, I mean, that's kind of reflective of some people, which is understandable, but at the same time, it's just so frustrating to watch. Ugh. Now getting into one of my favorite episodes from this week, we get to see Buff Frog again, and the Buff Babies in Cornball, which they don't understand how Cornball works, but it seems like no one quite does. Star encourages Buff Frog to try and return and live back in Muni with this cornball game and going, hey look, monsters and humans are living in peace together. See, things are getting better. But as is the way with most things in real life, the adults just can't seem to let go of the past. They get up in arms about it. The teams, even though it's encouraged, quote unquote, to mix it up, they still pick the people or monsters that they think will do the best job, and there's still a lot of hatred between both sides. It's kind of interesting to see, because at the very first season of Star, we had kind of this clear black and white image of, oh, humans are the good guys and monsters are the bad guys. And then that just kind of became more gray as the seasons went on, and now it's completely like this giant mixed shade of no one's good or bad. They're just people and monster people, and there's good and bad on both sides, kind of like real life, which is really cool to see in a kids show. I totally got off track. Anyway, Buff Frog isn't so sure that he can return to Muni because he's concerned about his little buff babies, and that they have become truly buff. They've got arms and legs, and they're so cute, and They go off and play cornball with the other children while the adults are all complaining about it. And meanwhile, Marco and Kelly are doing like this, what is it called, announcer thing over the PA system as Marco's trying to understand cornball. So this episode was super sweet, especially at the end when we see the Mumin and the monster kids all playing together. And even though the grown-ups are still fighting about things, as typical sports parents do, it gives Buff Frog the hope that maybe with the newer next generations that this bigotry and hatred can change over time. So he decides to move back to Muni, which makes Star very happy, and this episode was cute. I have nothing more to say about it. Then we actually get an episode where we see Ludo again. Yeah, I wasn't sure if we'd ever see him again. He just keeps getting thrown into the dimensional void. But we discover that he is back with his brother Dennis, the super tall Avarius bird. Dennis actually goes and buys back the old Avarius castle, the castle that Ludo had done all of his scheming to steal Star's wand back in the first season. And Ludo's not so sure about going back into the place because there's all those bad memories there, but Dennis is insistent that he wants to make new memories at this place. And we kind of see a little bit of the old Ludo back as they get the deed from this giant rat monster creature thing. And I mean, I don't really have much to say about this particular one, except we see some nice Dennis and Ludo brotherhood stuff. And at the end, we see all the various siblings beginning to clean up the castle and truly make it their place again. Wherever the parents are, I'm not quite sure. This episode was actually really hard for me to find to watch for some reason, so I think I might have missed a couple of details out of it. But overall, it seems like Ludo's finally beginning to heal from all of the crazy insanity that he's been through, which is good to see. I'm still not quite sure exactly if things go down really intensely on whose side Ludo will be on, or if we'll even see him at all, but it's nice to see that he's making some kind of path towards recovery in a good way. And now for the episode that's given me the most confusing headache for pretty much ever since I saw it, and I think it did that for several people. Meteora's lesson. So it kind of starts with Jana going to babysit Meteora, which I love how Jana just is now randomly showing up and she's just kind of there because it's Jana and everyone really likes Jana. I'll admit Jana's a pretty cool character. I like her too. But while Jana's babysitting, so to speak, Glosseric goes in and starts giving Meteora some training, which is really strange since she's a baby, but I guess she technically did grow into full adulthood before she got reverted back to a baby with Eclipse's spell. So maybe Glosseric is figuring, even though Meteora's in baby form, that she can handle these dipped-down princess lessons. Or maybe there's something else going on. Either way, he decides the best way to teach Meteora is to go through time. So they go to the time dimension and Father Time's not there. So we get to meet a character that was once again mentioned from the Book of Spells book that was published. Boy, they were really right when they said that book was like a season 3.5 thing between last season and this season. Because, I mean, you can figure out the show without it, but it just gives so much context for a lot that's going on, and it's kind of cool to see a literature piece supplement the show like that. It's really fun because then you gotta read too, as long as watch the show. But along those lines, we see a giraffe character that helps flow through the stream of time. And this giraffe character in the book was an original member of the High Commission, and then they kicked him out because Glosseric and everyone else thought he was too annoying, and so it was really cool to see. I didn't think we'd actually see this character in the show, but we do, and he's there, and he only speaks in limerick and rhymes, which is why everyone finds him annoying, I guess. So they go on this huge time travel journey, and they go to two specific points in time. They accidentally go to when the very first Muni settlers came in, and they just got completely swamped by the magical magic dust stuff, so they totally forgot who they were, and Glosseric just kind of gives them this brief overlay with the pop-up book from season 1, and then he puts some of the magic in Meteora's rattle and just hands it to the settlers and goes, there you go, start history now. Which it's so offhanded, and I never quite figured out exactly who or what Glossaric is and exactly how he plays into things, but the fact that he kind of jump-started all of Muni history without so much as a second thought, does that mean that he did it intentionally, or that he knew he had to do this because time and fate and paradoxes and stuff? I don't know. But we at this point it does bring up some interesting questions, especially related to Marco when he used the wand. That this magic has been in the kingdom of Muni even before the humans settled there. It's just always been a part of this specific dimension. It's always kind of flowed through this area. So by putting it in a wand, it taught the humans how to control it. So by that extent, you don't technically have to be born royal. You just have to be able to absorb this magic and control it in order to have the queen's power, which was really interesting to see. And then we go to the second point of time, which I guess was the whole point of Meteora's lesson. They go back to a super young Toffee with a whole bunch of Septarians. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And it's kind of a strange mix that Glossaric gets Meteora to unlock her power by getting so angry at Toffee that she tries sucking his soul out. All because supposedly Toffee broke Glossaric's arm, but as we know, Glossaric is totally fine. But it just leaves so many questions, because Toffee doesn't even seem phased to see Glossaric or even Meteora to that extent. So does Glossaric have like this further back relationship with Toffee than we know of? Have these two just kind of been at each other for centuries or decades or whatever? Like, I don't even know where to go with this. I was just so surprised to see Toffee at all. Like, when I was first finding the episodes, a clip of Toffee and Glossaric and Meteora was the first thing I saw, and I was so confused. It feels like, I mean, Toffee has always been considered the best bad guy on this show. Ever since season 1, everything's just kind of been compared to him. And we still really don't know a lot about that character, and fans have been dying to figure out exactly what this guy's deal is. And even now, as we're seeing more of his past, we're just even more confused. We can tell that he's definitely got a grudge against Muni. He's definitely got some kind of thing against magic in general. And even though Meteora is like half monster and half human, it seems like in Toffee's eyes that makes no difference. It doesn't matter who you are, it's the magic itself that's the problem. And that's why he tried destroying it and corrupting it in season 2 and the beginning of season 3. But man, it's just, I have no idea anymore. Does this mean that Toffee's gonna come back in some way? Is that still gonna happen? Like, I have no idea anymore. I guess that's where I'm going. At this point, I have no idea. They just resurrected all of the Toffee fans from the grave all of a sudden. And it's not like I was one or anything. It's not like I started taking the show seriously because I enjoyed Toffee as a villain. I totally didn't name my pet after him.
Tell me about it.
Shut up. Well, I guess we'll have to leave all of this for the future episodes to see where it goes. Yeah. So if you like this, make sure to put a thumbs up and press that like button. Don't forget to comment and subscribe as well. I can't believe I didn't mean to say subscribe that time. It just came out like YouTube word vomit. The algorithm, it consumed my soul for a minute. I got possessed by like a jerk YouTuber there for a moment. Yikes. The point I was trying to make is I really enjoyed reading everyone's comments on ships last week. So this week, I want to hear your opinions specifically on Toffee. What exactly do you think the show is trying to do with this character? Because I have no idea anymore. Do you think they'll actually bring him back for the last season? Or are they just trying to reveal more of Muni's history by using segments of him in the past? No matter what happens, I'm looking forward to seeing more next week, and I hope you look forward to listening to me talk about what I see next week. Boy, you know, the concept for this whole series is just kind of strange on paper now that I'm thinking about it. Anyway, see you guys next week.